One of the weird things that I discovered as a porn addiction recovery coach was how much traditional sexual morals applied to the management of our neurochemicals as a whole. So let me explain. Traditional sexual morals basically state that if you want to live the happiest life, the most fulfilling life, and you want to be the most prosperous and create a system that is most generally beneficial to everyone, then the most important part of that, at least in sexual terms, is marriage. You want to commit yourself totally to that marriage. You don't want to be putting that sexual energy anywhere else. You don't want to be fornicating, having sex outside of marriage. You don't want to be masturbating. You don't want to be watching pornography. You don't want to be engaging in deviant sexual acts. You want to be keeping it tied to your romantic partner, i.e. your wife, and then using that sexual relationship to bond with them, and then to also obviously procreate. And if you do that, then guess what? Good things are going to come from it. That's what traditional sexual morals say. And they also say that if you don't do this stuff, well, then you're going to suffer. You're going to bring hell upon yourself because you are sinning. And from where I stand, that's generally true. All right. Porn, it's horrible. It's going to be, ruining your life. If you get addicted to masturbation, most guys don't even realize it, but they live in a state of constant sexual lack and longing. Because of that, they just get so used to it. They can't even conceive a world where they experience sexual peace. And then sleeping around and all that kind of stuff has become so normalized that, people being alone in their 30s with no serious relationship prospects and their chances of having a family and stuff dwindling away, that's seen as normal, even though for most people that is still devastatingly painful. So in other words, basically, traditional morals say that you have to be chaste, meaning you have to contain your sexual energy and channel it in this right path, this straight and narrow path. And if you do that, that's what's going to give you the best results. Now, if we take that idea and we expand upon it and we bring it to the idea of neurochemicals as a whole, we arrive at what I would call neurochastity. All right. And it's a very similar sort of concept. The idea is that your goal should be to wed your neurochemicals to the best life that you could possibly imagine. All right. It's kind of like if you think of God's will for you, put it in spiritual terms, or just in practical terms of your vision of you living your highest, best, most moral and good life. All right. That is your spiritual bride, your neurochemical bride. That's where you want all of your neurochemicals flowing to. You want, get your dopamine from doing things that align like that, your serotonin from doing things that align with that, your oxytocin from, engaging in relationships that align with that highest conception of goodness. And then cortisol is designed to let you know, hey, you're moving out of alignment. That's why you're getting stressed, is because you're not lining up with that ideal vision. From this framework, escapism is basically a form of infidelity. It's a state of inchastity where you are wasting your neurochemicals on things that are less than good for you, right? You're blowing it on video games. You're blowing it on escapism. You're blowing it just scrolling your stupid phone. And each time you do that, it's like you're cheating on your life's mission. You're cheating on God's will for your, thriving. And while this might feel good in the moment, in the same way that, sexual immorality feels good in the moment, it ultimately pulls you closer into hell, because as you engage in neurochemical dalliances, neurochemical lust or inchastity, whatever you want to call it, as you do that, what happens is your ability to be focused and driven towards your highest conception of goodness is hurt. All right. If you spend, a few hours jerking off and playing video games, what level of fire are you going to feel toward pursuing your highest goals? Much less, if any at all. Right. In fact, as you engage in these sorts of escapes, your regular life is going to start feeling worse and worse. It's going to feel more and more like this horrible chore that you just need to get through. All right. And who wants to live like that? No one does. But that's how most people do. It's they spend all day in a 9 to 5 in something they absolutely freaking hate. And then when they get home, they just blast their brain with low value escapism. They just blast their brain with these, neurochemicals that don't line up with anything good. They just like eat a bunch of junk food, jerk off, and then scroll a bunch of shit or like watch a bunch of dumb shows. And then that they have no ability then to change their life because they are neurochemically unchaste. So instead of slutting around with low value behaviors, I think you should be making love to the most beautiful life possible, meaning investing your energy, impregnating reality with your will. That's what you're supposed to be doing, okay? And you can do this. And if you do this, guess what? Your life's going to get a lot better. But making this transition obviously is hard, and that's why I build the Self-Mastery Club, all right? And so if you want to get in the Self-Mastery Club, you want to be this guy who's making love to life rather than just your hand and some stupid porn, well, then you got to get into the Self-Mastery Club. Click the link to find out more. Ooh, yeah. See you in the next one.